High in the Andes of Peru, where mountains cut the sky and villages cling to stone, there is a fear that doesn't fade with daylight. It wears a human face. They call it Phistaco. The Phistaco is not a beast that snarls or hunts openly. It doesn't lurk in shadows with claws or fangs. Instead, it walks the roads like anyone else, often described as a tall stranger, sometimes light-skinned, sometimes foreign, sometimes dressed like a priest, a soldier, or a traveler, someone who doesn't belong, but blends in just enough. The Phistaco's hunger is specific. It does not crave blood. It steals body fat. In Andean belief, fat is not just flesh. It is life, strength, warmth, vitality. To lose it is to weaken, to fade, to die slowly. Victims of the Phistaco are said to be found pale and drained, their bodies unnaturally thin, as if something essential was taken from them. Some never wake up. Others survive but are never the same. The methods change depending on the story. Sometimes the Phistaco ambushes travelers on lonely mountain paths, knocking them unconscious before harvesting what it needs. Sometimes it lures victims with offers of work, money, or help. In darker versions, it drugs food or drink, stealing fat while the victim sleeps. And what does it do with what it takes? That's where the fear deepens. The stolen fat is said to be sold to power machines, to grease church bells, to fuel weapons, to enrich distant elites who will never see the suffering it caused. In older legends, it was used for candles and medicine. In newer ones, for industry and profit. The details evolve. The fear does not, because the Phistaco is not just a monster, it is a memory. During Spanish colonization, indigenous communities watched outsiders arrive with authority, weapons and strange tools. People disappeared, resources were taken, bodies were exploited, sometimes literally, sometimes economically. The Phistaco became the story that explained it. Why are our people growing weaker? Why are strangers getting rich? Why does progress always cost us something? Even in modern times, the legend adapts. The Phistaco becomes a corporation, a mining company, a foreign contractor, a powerful system that extracts value and leaves nothing behind. That's why people still whisper about it. Why lone travelers are watched closely. Why communities protect their own. Why suspicion isn't paranoia, it's survival. The Phistaco hunts isolation. Those who walk alone. Those far from home. Those who trust too easily. And the lesson of the legend is sharp. Danger doesn't always announce itself with violence. Sometimes it arrives politely. Sometimes it wears authority. Sometimes it promises opportunity. And by the time you realize what it took from you, you are already too weak to fight back. In Peruvian folklore, the Phistaco is a warning carved into the mountains themselves. About exploitation disguised as progress. About power that feeds on the vulnerable. About outsiders who take more than they give. So if you travel the high roads of the Andes, and a stranger offers help where none is needed, or opportunity that feels